What up, what up? It's your boy Chris Lee with another game review. This game review is on, you guessed it, if you can tell by the graffiti, next month, I'll give you a hint, Street Fighter. For all them fighters out there who've been playing Street Fighter since PlayStation, for our generation, since the Nintendo, from Sega up until this current generation. And with this being said, this is probably one of the most anticipated Street Fighter games to date. And the reason why that is because it's bringing you new, different ways to play this game. It's giving you new storylines. It's giving you different playing styles as well. It's giving you some meat and potatoes finally to a fighter game. It's not just a 2D fighter with cutscenes, right? It's kind of played out, right? Like a fighter's cutscene, some cheesy way that make these two fighters fight, and then in the cutscene, etc., etc. I mean, rinse and repeat, right? Well, Street Fighters figured out a new way to bring Street Fighter, the name Street Fighter, to the forefront. It's not just a catchy title that came out in the 90s. This is literally Street Fighter. And I'm going to go ahead and play the intro for you all. Now, this right here is one of the tabs. Is called a creator hub. So you have different hubs within the game that you can play. So for example, you have, let me turn this up real quick, let you hear this. I want to be strong. Can you believe it? We got self-driving cars. The time's coming, we'll be taking rockets to Mars. And yet you still got folks out there using their fists and bodies to speak strength. So with that being said, I really love the intro. The intro really brings me to like NBA Streets, you know, NBA Street era. They're really cool. I love the voice, the voiceover for this. It's really giving you a hip hop twang to it all. But yeah, so the intro to this game, far as the World Tour, this is this version of it. War Tour is basically your created fighter, right? A fighter that you create yourself. You edit them, make them however you want them to be. Whether you want them tall, skinny, big head, little head, big feet, long spaghetti arms, whatever you want to do with your fighter, even reptile arms. Whatever you want to do, you can create your fighter right here in this hub. And they can fight just like any other fighter. Have combos just like any other fighters. And their limitations will not stop them from winning matches or slapping some cheeks on some online multiplayer. With that being said, this here is Luke. Luke here is this generation's Gao. So it's our Gao. He's a military guy. He has his dojo. He's training new fighters, including your fighter. And he's kind of like really, switching up a little bit. He's not like, hey, stay in this dojo and train. He's like, nah, I'm going to give you the basics. You go out there in them streets and you clap some cheeks out there. Come back to me and let me know what your progress is. And I'm going to test you out to see if you're really about this life. And that's what Luke's all about. And I like Luke. Luke is a straight up guy. He's straightforward. Here is pretty much like the entry level with the Creator Hub. So you can create your fighter here. So you have your creator tab. You can make your fighter, as I said, however you want to. This is just me doing like a little playing around with the different presets. I'm just kind of going through different presets for those who haven't played the demo. And just give you like a little entry. You can make them whatever, short, fat, tall, skinny, lanky, hungry, whatever you want to make them to look like, you can. This is truly a freedom of creativity. And a lot of games who have creator, the character creator tab, is not as intuitive as others. Some just give you the basics. They're not going to let you explore too much. But with this game here, it literally gives you a clean palette and you can just make it your own. You can make it whatever you want it to be, however you want them to be. I'm talking about from the eyebrows down to the eyes, down to the lips, the nose, whatever you want them to look like. It's just very, very intuitive. You can choose the voices, the voice, deep, high-pitched voice, however you want it to be. You can create all that here in this Creator tab. Now, this Street Fighter 6 is slated to come out in June 2nd of this year. So cross fingers it won't be delayed because I'm very, very excited for this game. When I played the demo, I went straight to GameStop and I pre-ordered this when I picked up my copy of
Jedi Survivor, which I will be doing a review on that shortly. And you know what? I'm sold. I'm sold because a lot of fighter games don't give you the creative tab. They don't give you the freedom to create your player how you want them to be created. You kind of got to play what you got. This here really make it your own. They really immerse you into Street Fighter. It's giving you an extra, like I said, meat and potatoes to what would be a traditional two-fighter or 2D fighter game. So with that being said, as you see here, this is the creative tab. We gonna kind of like fast forward past this a little bit if you don't mind. We gonna, just kind of really show you what's going on here. And like I said, you can just create them and make it your own thing. Even down to the hair, and that's really cool as well. You can give them braids, you can give them whatever, a fro, a buzz cut. You could give them the high top, whatever you want to do. You can really customize it. Right now, working on the eyebrows. Like I said, and the detail on these characters is nuts. Like the graphic and the details, and I love they went in this graphic layout here. That whole artsy style with the oil paint style. I am not at all a fan of that with Street Fighter. I've just skipped past the last few because I'm just not. No, I'm fine. I didn't ask for all that. I don't need that. But they brought it pretty much to a more modernized style of graphic, and which is cool because I'm talking about this is really good graphics here. For Street Fighter, I gave my guy Beard. He's from Philly. All right, don't question him. So with that being said, man, you can make it your own for a different nationality of people. You can feel very represented when playing games like this. And I shout out to Capcom for really giving the creative tab to make your character your own. My guy's Jesus right now. He's Jesus. He's out here saving souls and slapping cheeks. That's what he's doing out here. He's going to give you the word. He's going to give you the foot. He's going to make sure you leave saved and with a sore noggin, because he's out here just clapping cheeks everywhere, because that's what my fighter is going to do on Street Fighter. As soon as I pick up the game, I'm going to get my practice going, and I'm going to jump online with some of you. And I might win some, I might lose some, but I live to fight another day. I'm going to just say that, all right? So, you can create your character however you want to. My guy got a beard, you can change, like I said, the voice, change the voice here. So we're going to skip past this again. So now I want to get to this part here. So once you finish creating your character, you pretty much then continue on with your training montage, if you would say. That's him looking at your ID card. That's you. Like I said, it's very, very cool how they really took time on this game. Just small details, just really making it a fluid gameplay. It's not just something, like I said, cheesy. It's really giving you a real different experience with Street Fighter. So here, he's introducing himself. That's Luke, like I said, your trainer. And then he's going to walk you through his steps. Because again, it's not your traditional 2D fighter game. It's a 3D fighter game. So it's an open world for the most part. So you're running around streets and navigating up and around streets and running in circles and whatever. So here, for those who never played that mechanic on Street Fighter, they'll literally say, look, check this out. These are the mechanics. These are the tutorials, just to show you what it looks like on this version of Street Fighter. Because you have a lot of Street Fighter fans that's old heads like myself who don't watch the reviews, who don't watch the gameplay, but they know Street Fighter is Street Fighter. They're going to pick it up and they're going to open up the pack, pop it in, and find out what the hell is this. This is what they're saying. Look, before you get there, this is why we got a demo, and this is why we're going through these tutorials. So when you get this game, you kind of up to speed with what we're trying to do here, what we're trying to accomplish here, all right? So with that being said, that's your character running around. He go through different presets, different sets, just kind of like show you the mechanics, just like any other fighter game with the intros. It's really showing you how to fight the game, especially for with the new generation. New generation probably never played Street Fighter, so it's really just giving them a welcome. Say, look, this is what we're doing on this version of it. This is how you fight. This is how you do combos. This is how you do kicks and etc. So you got these tutorials here, which is pretty cool, right? And it just really giving you pretty much, like I said, a walkthrough. For those like myself, who never really played this type of mechanic in a fighter, it's worth just playing through once. It's worth going through a few tutorials, so that way you can get the bearings of what they're trying to accomplish. So when you're out there fighting, you kind of know what your elements are. So let's go here. So, and one thing about this game here is really cool how they introduce their characters, such as the intros. Each character intro is really cool, very dramatic, very, it's very cool. Like, I mean, you will see. You will see. I just want you to see this part here. Now, this guy here who's kind of trying to kick his shit, trying to kick his chin in. Lord, like, no, hello, who are you? Nah, dog, I'm giving you straight foot to chin. Like, you up in my dojo taking my spot. I'm about to show you what it's about. And here you are fighting with them. And so all the mechanics you learn and the training prior with the tutorial, this is just your first interaction and putting that all together or piecing it all together and just see how you kind of work in real time. This fight doesn't matter who wins or loses. It's just really showing all what you've learned and putting in one kind of like test trial, right? And that's what that is. Of course, me as a fighter, one of the king of fighters, of course, I'm going to do what I do. You feel me? So, with that being said, it's really cool. The intro to it is really cool. And this, like I said, this is one of the tabs. You got multiple different games hubs on this version of Street Fighters. So you don't have you just don't have the traditional versus or the traditional arcade or traditional online player. They give you more to what you're paying for. They give you more to the game. They give you a story with your character that you infuse into the story, and the story is going to follow your character and Mr. Bosch, the knucklehead, going to follow y'all around, as y'all roam the streets of Metro City trying to find your next opponent, and which we'll get to that in our next tab here. So let's pop out of that. Let's go here. So here's where y'all pretty much making it to the city, right? Y'all in the city, y'all in Metro City right now. You on the streets. There's a lot of going on in the streets. There's a lot of noise, a lot of interactions. There's a lot of people just really just living their lives, living their best life. And I love this game here because you can challenge random people on the streets. I repeat, for those who ain't listening, you can challenge random people on the streets. And as this random fire juggler just making his money, trying to pay rent, you want to run up and give him some hands. But guess what? He's like, yo, I ain't no average bear. I can handle mine. So as you know, you fight with any random person. And this is why I said it brings the term Street Fighter to the forefront. Because Street Fighter, you fight in the streets. That's like a 90s punchline. But anyway, that's why I like this game. Because it's not just a title. And it's because, can we be honest here? Can we be honest? This is the era of honesty, honest reviewer. The title Street Fighter in the lore of Street Fighter from our generation up until before this game had zero to do with street fighting. It was you fighting. You had a military guy, Gao. You had this creation of a freak, which is Blanca. You had Chung Li. You had all the other fighters. Now, granted, their backgrounds or their surroundings were in streets per se, but the story didn't really intertwine with the term Street Fighter. You know what I mean? So it wasn't really twanging with it to so much of Street Fighter, because a lot of the even watch the movies, none of it took place in the streets for real. Even when you watch the animes, none of it took place in the streets for real. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a title that doesn't really mesh with what they're accomplishing. So in this version of it, you really are bringing Street Fighter to the forefront. You're literally in Metro City, running around, talking, because you have an option to talk to them. You have an option to kind of like, throw a little dialogue back and forth, or option to fight. So, which term? Street Fighter. You can fight the guy who make the barista, the guy who makes your coffee, the guy who make your smoothie. You can fight the old lady who just filming in the background. You can fight the dog walker. You can fight the mime. Street Fighter. You fight in the streets. Now, and the thing I love about this is when you fight in the streets, they show you the level of each fighter you fight with, like almost like they skill level as a fighter. And the thing I love about it is while you fight in the streets, the people will show you, you will see them gather. You will see them kind of like doing their own thing, but watch it as it's not like the traditional guy in the background doing this the whole fight. It's literally showing you like like the cohesiveness of the people just in the city and watching a fight casually. Like you got people here just like, okay, they're getting it in. You got some people with their phones out, recording with their phones, as would be in modern time, just really bringing some more of a modern twang, making it more of a believable fight scene. And it's pretty cool. And once you win the fight, all is love. Ain't no beef. He ain't coming for your first bar. He ain't coming for your first king. He ain't gonna avenge himself. It's like, all right, dog, good fight. Boom, GG. Holla at you the next go round. That type thing. And it's so cool, man. On this game here, you have different you have different avenues you can go down. You can run down. You can run into buildings. You can run into shops. You can buy clothes. You can buy hats. You can get your hair cut. You can do whatever. Again, Street Fighter. And for those who like really want a better comparison, I put it to you this way. If you played Pokemon Arceus, not even that, sketch that. If you played Pokemon Violet or Pokemon Scarlet, this is the take that whole premise into Street Fighter, and there you go. Because if you play, look, you fighting a random old lady, you know what I'm saying? She like, yo, I got hands too, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by you can fight random people in the street, and yo, you can just strap. You can just, and when you fight them, you build up your ranking, actually. So the more you fight, the more fights you win, the more your ranking goes up, the more you build your character. Sounds very familiar to Pokemon, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So when you play stuff like Pokemon Scarlet or Pokemon Violet, remember when you go fight the random trainers, you know, if you kind of on a mission, you see a random trainer in the corner, just kind of practicing their throw, and you want to run up, hey, let's do a run. Let's fight our Pokemon. And you fight, you win or you lose either way. But if you win, it builds your rank up or build your Pokemon skills up. Same concept. Just you only using one fighter, your created fighter in this concept. So it's an open world. You can challenge trainers in a sense, almost like Pokemon. You could go into different shops and purchase different things, just like Pokemon. So it kind of gives you that whole Pokemon vibe, but take it and mash it with a fighter style. So there you go. So if you play those two games, just take Street Fighter and put it into that universe, and there you go. Now, the demo don't give you everything, but at the end of the demo, it does show like a trailer, like if you fight Chun-Li. Now, I'm imagining from my just perspective, when you fight people like Chun-Li, you kind of go through different boroughs of the city where you may have Chun-Li, you may have Blanca, you may have, you know, the mayor in different parts of the city that you may fight, and then you might learn some of their skill sets, or they might send you on some missions, on some journeys perhaps, to kind of fine-tune your fight, if you would say. Again, this is truly speculation because I have not played the game, nor have you or anyone, because it's just a demo. It stops you at a certain point. Now, the graphics, as you can see, is really good. The graphics is very vibrant. It's very bright. It's very like lively. It's, you know, I love it. The mechanics with fighting is you can choose the traditional style as we always play, or custom style, which is a new way they kind of implement a new combo system, which is pretty cool, but you can bounce between the two. You got the online multiplayer. If you want to play online multiplayer as well, as you would have done in the prior game. So if you're like, I don't want to play the creative side, I don't want to play this version, I'm not interested in this, cool. You can just play online as you normally would. No harm, no foul. Or if you want to just play versus, you can play versus. You can play right with your buddy next to you. You can play versus, however you want to do it. You can play the story. You can train. You don't have to mess with this side of it. But what it did is it gave you an extra layer to gameplay, so it's just not a one and done. It's just not a game you played for a month on end online and then you just put it down and just stop fighting. This is me running up on a mime. So I just want to fight the mime because he was doing all the punching. I figured he was doing it towards me, so here we are, we strapping. You want to fight about it? So, and here you are, you're strapping. And now you have some people you find on the streets that's just as good as you. They might give you a run for your money, but then you have some that's just, you know, as casual. They just there as an NPC just to really like feel the concept of Street Fighter. And then you have the knuckleheads. You have the crooks and criminals who just kind of running rampant around the streets, and you're not running into them, and you're not fighting them as well. And those are pretty much like I would say, if you was playing Pokemon, you run into the trainers, the little bullies, whatnot, and you run into them, you fight them, you know, show them, hey, this is not the way, you know, that type thing, and you just continue on. So you do have that as well. Another thing about Street Fighter here is, other than a multiplayer, let's kind of move over from here, kind of seen enough of that, right? And then you have, your versus mode. Your versus mode, as of right now, the demo, you can only fight with Luke and, of course, with the legendary Ryu. And then you can fight with either or. You can fight Ryu or you can fight with Luke. I love the intro, though. When they first come in, it's pretty cool. It's like one of those NBA, if you ever played NBA 2K lately, kind of how they bring the characters in and they kind of have it's really cool how they bring them in. So that's really dope. I really love what they did there. They really add the layer because they know people are going to be playing this at sporting events. So they really kind of implement that into the gameplay as well. So there you go there as well. Other than that, this is just like I said, the traditional 2D fighting style if you were to do versus. Now, this part has not changed, okay? This part is remaining the same. So for those who like, did they change everything on us? No, they didn't. This is how it normally would be. You got your art style, you do your combos and all that. So that's remaining the same. But again, if you were to play in the different hubs, such as World Tour, you have a little difference of a style. But when you're fighting, it's 2D. But when you're roaming, you can roam around. If that makes sense. So it ain't taking away just the mechanics of the game or the bread and butter of the game. It's still a 2D fighter. You still got this guy on this side, this guy on that side. So you still got that layout. And I want to show you his finishers. Boom, that's his finishers there. One of his finishers, rather. And then you can kind of bust them out right there. Boom. So, I mean, it's pretty cool there how they really implement the more flashy, but it's not like overbearing, And I just love how they kind of like when they win, how they have like their whole little celebration, little hub there as well. And that's pretty cool. But the game overall, from what I've been playing, is pretty cool. I had nothing but fun playing the demo. As I said, these are the two fighters you get in the demo. I want you to see I want you to see this intro real quick though. But with that being said, the graphics is really great because Street Fighters has been, to me, I didn't take it seriously because how the graphics was. It just seemed like something that's a child's play or a mobile game. But they really went into the graphics on this version of it. And look, this is the intro. Let me turn this. I want you to see this. Hear this. So, you have that there as well. So that's pretty cool as you see how they come in. Like I said, I love that. But they really fine-tuned this game to where every generation can find something that they appreciate, whether it's our generation, whether it's a new generation, whether people who never played Street Fighter but heard so much about it, who want to try it. It's bringing it out for everybody to really have something in this game that they can pick from it that they enjoy the most. So if I was to give my review on this game, I'm not going to give it a score because, again, it's just a demo. That'd be unjust to when the game finally come out. So as of right now, is it a game you should pre-order or a game you should wait on? Me personally, pre-order it because with pre-orders, you get maybe character packs, you get season passes, you might get other different elements of the game as well as other average fighters would not get. You might get a character, I don't know, skin or something like that or whatever. But pre-order it because this game is going to be a really highly anticipated game. There's going to be a lot of game coverages on this game. There's going to be a lot of online matches. I'm pretty sure, and I'm willing to bet, the server may crash quite a few times because a lot of people trying to jump online and show what they're about and show, hey, this is what I used to do back in my days when I used to play Street Fighter. I can see a lot of people who haven't played Street Fighter since the older console days are now coming back. Like, this is pretty new. Let me see what they're doing. So with that being said, this is Chris Lee. This is my honest review. Yes, pre-order the game. It's definitely worth it. I'm really interested to see where that World Tour go at because just a little bit that they showed me, I'm very intrigued, boy. I'm pretty excited to see what they're going to bring to the table because I can find myself just locked in on that particular version of the game and still know that I have my versus. I still got my arcade. I still got my online multiplayer. I still got all these things laid to the side, like my dessert laid to the side. Whenever I'm finished, I can jump to this. So they really gave this game some meat and potatoes to where it's not just a one and done. So hats off to Capcom for doing that. Now, what I would love though, however, how Mortal Kombat done with how they done when they brought in characters like Joker, or how they brought in characters like, the Terminator, how they brought in like Rambo and the Ninja Turtles and all these other characters. Granted, they all pretty much owned by the same company, but Capcom also owned quite a few other fighters. Capcom versus You know what I'm saying, Marvel? So if you could bring in some more Capcom legends into this game, that's not, so to speak, Street Fighters, but I would love to see Hagar on here, you know, as well. I would love to see other fighters from Capcom to make their debut. Maybe some characters from Resident Evil, make as you know, as a character, you know, pack, as one of those season passes pack. That'd be really cool to see them to kind of play with that a little bit, because Capcom got a lot of good fighters. I want to see Dante, you know what I'm saying, jump on here from Devils May Cry. I want to see him jump in. I mean, that'd be so freaking cool if they could really implement that in there. Almost, again, as a season pass. They ain't going to have no story or anything, but it's a season pass added on later on. I can imagine, because Capcom got a lot of tools to work with in their toolbox. And maybe give us a more modern style Marvel vs. Capcom, almost built like this, with this same design. Give us a Marvel vs. Capcom with the same character design, the same graphics design, you know, not cartoony, but give us something like this. You know what I mean? Like, that would be dope. That would be dope. And I'm just making suggestions. All right, I'm just a small guy, a small fry, just only making suggestions. So with that being said, thank y'all for hanging with me. Thank y'all for watching this video this long. But I really wanted to show y'all, for those who have not played the demo, just show you what it's about. But if you like my honest reviews, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you like my channel. I'm going to try to post as many reviews as possible, so y'all don't be out here spending y'all hard-earned money on games that turns out to be flops. Peace.